Good morning, and today's going to be pocket twos. We are six-handed, 10 NL game, folds us on the cutoff. We raise, and we get called by the big blind. So cutoff looking something like this. Probably going to play a little bit tighter. Not sure if I'm going to be including these hands. Just kind of depends on how the game's going. You can tell we're only 23 hands into the game, but I do have a lot of information. All three players seem to be tight behind me, so maybe we can go with this range and stick with it. I think what I'm kind of saying is that some of these GTO ranges are just way too wide for some of these micro limits. Yeah, it's going to increase your VPI IP, but it's players. You're not getting folds when you should be getting folds. They're calling down way too much, which tends to favor playing stronger hands and not so much having in a bunch of hands where players tend to overfold. When players tend to overfold, then we can start to expand our range and start to include some of the weaker hands. So we're going to go with this cutoff range here. This guy's playing 2010. We've got some notes on him that says he's more on the passive side. 3-bet range looks like jacks plus ace king. He does have a queen 8 off in there, and that is 3-bet versus steal. Let's go back. His 4-bet range is aces. It's called 2-bet from blind range. Looks like pocket pairs. Looks like suited aces. Looks like suited connectors. Well, broadways. Suited connectors. Nothing too crazy. And the suited connectors, the lowest is 9-8, 9-8 suited. So we're looking at something. This is 20%. 9-8. It could be something like that. That gets us to 19.2. And that's probably looking pretty good, closer to the 20%. If we look at his button stat, or big blind stat, is populate 15%, called 14%. We're at 19%. I think this is pretty good. So two of us see the flop of 10-3-2, so we spike our 2, which is great. And it's on a board that isn't too scary. We kind of hope it on a board like this that villain doesn't believe us, or villain caught a 10, maybe like an ace 10, king 10, and does not want to go away, because on this board, we're going to miss this board a lot. So villain checks us. He does donk 8%. Not really sure if this is a good donk board. We've got donked flop with top pair or better. I mean, maybe he could have a 10. I mean, it falls into there where maybe it's like a 10 jack, 10 9, betting to see where we're at, see what comes up. Because again, if the turn comes less than or lower than a 10, he could fire out a turn bet, no problem. But if the turn brings a jack, queen, king, or ace, it's gonna probably freeze him. So it's on us. What do we do? There's not going to be a whole lot of draws, and you could see our range is like super wide. I mean, not as wide as like a button range, but it is wide, and you could see that the board doesn't have massive amounts of draws. So I don't think we're going to be c-betting this a whole lot. Just go with open ender, got shot. We're at 4.8%. So we're going to have to look at other cards that could potentially give us some draws. Let's get the 10s out. So I mean, that's 2-card backdoor flush draws. If we just do all broadways, that's at 27%, and that may be what we have to do just to increase our frequency, because at it's 28%. We're looking at betting 14% for value. Do we have that? We've got sets. We've got overpair, top pair. We could probably, the thing with the top pair is that we're just as scared of seeing, checking it and giving up the free card that beats us. So kind of thinking maybe these hand we run that risk, or we take that risk, and we do like a C bet of 41%, where we're betting just our top pair plus, but our good top pair, good kicker plus. That's at 13.7%. We've got 27%. That gets us 41% C bet. That could work. Go for value. We need value with our set, especially in a steal situation. We might have a player that plays back at us, so we bet. We bet small, and I think that's probably reasonable. 10 connects with a big part of his range here, and then he raises us. So what is he check raising? Let's see if we've got some notes on him. Raise flop C bet with overpair less and no draw. Well, there's no overpairs unless he's got jacks. So if we kind of scale it back and say, you know what, we're going to give him jacks here, 50%, now he can have that. And maybe that's what we have to do to make it reasonable. Yeah, we have him, as a 3-bet range, jacks plus. But we do have call 2-bet from blinds with jacks. And we've got ace jack suited plus, so we could add maybe ace queen suited as well as 50. So let's do that. Let's adjust their range to kind of fit that, because now we can start looking at it and saying, okay, he could check raise with an overpair. Probably doesn't have a set, but I think top pair could be a check raise. Not favorite one, but like ace 10 could be a check raise. Probably not any of these under pairs. So I just think that this guy's range is really narrowed, which is good, because now it looks like, okay, if we just have all cards less than a 10, we should be good. I think an ace or a king freezes the action. So he raises. So then the question is, what do we do? We've got this range that we're dealing with. What do we come over the top with? We got 41% C bet, 42% C bet. What are we going to be raising here? I don't think we're doing these 2 card backdoor flush draws. Those overcards, I think those are out. Not even sure about the gut shots. We'll have to check. So we're at 41%. We're going to be a little bit more realistic. So I do think we could easily. So we have to think about his range. So or his stack size, 44. If we raise, come over the top, we're probably going. Let's see here. 13, 17, 9, about 20. So we could raise this up to maybe 12. Raising it up to 10 is probably about pot size bet. So yeah, pot's 10.2. That's the current pot. So if we raise it up to 10.2, no, that's not right. We'd have to have our call too. So 14.3. So 14.5 would be pot after our call, and then we raise it again, so 7. So yeah, raising up to maybe like 20 or 12 big blinds would be about a half pot raise. I think we could be justified in raising it with the set. I don't think we're going to be raising all of them though. And the reason is we're not going to be raising all of our gut shot and open enders. I just don't think we're going to be doing that. I think we're going to give up on some of our like ace king, ace queen, our overcards that don't connect. I think we're going to call with our ace king. We're going to mostly call with these hands. I think we're going to probably call with jacks and queens. We're going to probably raise with aces and kings. And then with our sets, I think we're not going to raise with all of them. Maybe like 50%. With our set, we're going to withhold some sets here. And if we have a 10, I think we're going to keep those as raises because it kind of gives villain more chances to have those jacks, which is what we're looking for. Yeah. So let's see what I did. I think that we could probably raise or call with this hand, and I chose to just call. So we're going to go. We're calling here. I think I prefer raising with the tens, getting him in. Overpair, call with jacks and queens. Calling with those. Got those. All right. And then I think we are probably calling with some gut shots. Let's get. Sometimes calling with those. And I think our open ender would be best just to have those with our raise and some of those gut shots. So that might be okay with our call. So we went from 40% down to like 12%, so 25% call. And I bet our raise was probably maybe a little less than that, maybe 15% or so if we worked it out. So let's go to the turn as the 8. That's actually pretty good. If he's got jacks, he's not going to be scared of that at all. He leads into us, bets half pot. I think everything that he has here makes sense for him to lead. Again. And our goal is to try to get his stack. So we missed out on our raise. Do we raise here? I mean, he should be thinking, what do we have? He should be happy that we have a 10 maybe. So out of all of our hands, I think now we should probably come up for a raise instead of a call. So I'm not sure if I like this call. Of course, we will have to call with some of these. The thing is with the overpair, we're not thrilled with calling with those. I think with the jacks we can call. I think some of these queens are going to have to be raised. We're kind of excluding aces, kings, and queens from his range again. So I kind of feel like with the queens we should be ahead. And then with the sets we should, I think most of the time, raise with them. We're gonna set up like 33% chance of calling and do the rest with raising. I think those top pair are probably calls again, and I don't know if we're going to call on the river. If he bets again on the river, then I think we may just have to give up our king 10 and ace 10. We're essentially bluff catching those. So we picked up a flush draw. I think ace 5, ace 4, those are gut shots. I think those make sense to just call. Well, I mean, an ace could win. Maybe those are the ones we just call. Those are the ones that we include in our raising range. All right, let's go for that. So we do call. 8 comes out. That's actually really good because again, if he's got jacks or if he has ace 10, we should be solid. So he checks to us at this point. I guess he's thinking that he's maybe I was on a draw and I'm not going to call, or he's getting scared. I think the getting scared's probably the better, because we've got a note that he says more on the passive side. So I think this is probably consistent. He's looking at check calling down on this river. Pot's 26. We didn't do a good job of pot control to get this bet size. We can always just shove them all in, over bet pot. We kind of polarize our range, but I mean, maybe that's the way to do it. I mean, he took the lead with the check raise, and then he bet again, and then he did a passive check on the river. Maybe our play here is just to shove. We've got a full house that we're going to shove with. I think of the overpair we shove with, maybe with the queens. I don't think we're doing it with top pair. And then with our nothing hand, we're a little off. So maybe we don't do it all of our queens. Oops. About a third. That might work. Raise something like that, which includes our full house, which we might not have a lot of, because I think we should have raised these ahead of time. But I kind of think we should have just gone 37.9, just made it really polarizing. Try to get him to call. He did call. I think he's calling with his hands that he has there, and he shows Jack 10. So it's not as strong as I expected. I didn't expect him to check raise with just the weaker kicker, but he did do. He did do that. So let's see here. All right, I paused it, took a note here, had to go back. So I've got his hand. I think I kind of messed up. I think I could have gotten his stack. And I think we've got two different places. One is the river. We could have really, go back to here. Pot's 26. He's got 37. We're betting maybe about 150%. This could be a really good spot to overbet the pot. Just shove and get called by people that think we're just trying to blow it off. Does he call with Jack 10? He called pot size bet, so it probably calls again. And it kind of makes sense if we're putting him on jacks and like ace 10, he's going to check call. I think it's going to be hard for someone to fold like that. After they took the lead by check raising, they led the turn, and then they're just not going to fold. I don't think they're going to fold. So I think we messed that up based on the line that we took. The other one is I kind of think that once he check raised the flop, we probably should have come over the top. Now, I don't know if that would have gotten us a stack because, he check raises with top pair because he doesn't think I have anything. But if I come over the top with a 3-bet on him, then he's going to probably freeze up. So I think what we're going to do is, I'm happy with the ranges that we have here. And I think giving 50% to jacks and 50% to ace queen, I think that works. Let's open up GTO and see what it says. All right, so I already ran it. I did not adjust the tree. I made it. I didn't check for bet sizes at all. I want to see what GTO is recommending, because there's always a possibility that villain's gonna donk bet here. So I wanted to see what kind of bets he's gonna make with the donk, and GTO is recommending about 20%. in this situation based on his range. I think that's kind of interesting because I wouldn't normally dunk into a player that has a lead. However, on this board, I'm gonna miss that a lot. So I think it's kind of interesting if you have played twos or threes to or tens, you know, to go ahead and lead with this. You can lead with jacks. So I think that's kind of interesting. So we've got he checks to us. We're gonna be betting. You can see we're betting basically sets over pair, top pair. Our bets are about 45%, so we're not too far off with our 42%, 43%. Yeah, about 41%. So it was like almost 28 and 14 is what we set up. So not too far off. We got our sets. Basically betting all of our sets. We're not betting all of our overpair. Our top pair are going to be our stronger ones. Looks like we're not bluffing as much for value. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Open enders are betting, gut shots are betting. Some of our overcards are betting. Not all of them. Looks like we're withholding like some of the ace X hands as our checks. Broadways are basically betting. So yeah, it kind of looks like we're betting. Well, no made hands. We're throwing in some of these no made hands. Are those 2-card backdoor flush draws? I bet those are. Like queen nine. Yeah, we're throwing in like really just junky hands to balance. So where I was kind of balancing with like the overcards, looks like GTO's balancing with some of just these real crappy cards that are in the middle. Queen eight, probably queen eight because you block some hands. But we do bet, and I set up this for 50%. We bet he's going to raise us. And is he correct in raising? No, I didn't think so. And actually, I don't think he was correct in raising with like the jacks either. You normally don't. I don't think this is a board to really check raise. You could, but it almost seems like the check raise would be twos, threes, tens, and then you're throwing in like these gut shots to balance along with like the ace two, ace three. So gut shot for ace four, ace five. And you could always pick up if you catch an ace. You could always win that. And then queen jack, which looks to be backdoor flush draw and so forth. So yeah, he was not correct in his check raising range. Let's continue running this. So we ran 8 of hearts, and then he bet. Oh, hold on, he raised us. All right, so now it's on us for the call, and I was questioning 3-betting over top, but GTO saying no, just call with us, and that includes our trips, twos, threes, tens. So okay, so we're good on that. Once we call, villain's betting again with that range. And then are we raising? No, we're not. So it looks like we are still doing okay. We're going to come back to here. So we are raising some of our hands, some of our overcards, and some of like the bluff. King 2, King 3, 5-3. So we do have some hands that we're check raising, but most of the time we're going to be calling. All right, so then he checks to us, and at this point, we're betting. This is 70% pot here. Now we're betting, which is probably what we need to do. So let's revise this a bit. So we've already had the tree. Let's take out this. So let's give him the check. Let's change this to 33%. Because that's kind of what we did. Accept changes. let's go ahead and run the solver and we'll be back. All right, so we ran this, we made him check, we bet 100%. So we're at 36%, still pretty close. Still have these junky cards for balance. We bet, villain raises us. Again, Jack 10 is not in that raising range, and still GTO has us calling here. So let's go ahead and look. Go to the turn. So we're going to take out flop and turn. We had him check raising the overpairs. I think we're going to have him check raising the top pair as well. And let's adjust his range to this. He's the out of position player. And then for us, let us get to this call. Oops. I wonder if there's a good way to check this. So villain has this calling with the sets. Top pair, I mean, it has this calling with top pair, but we're not going to have all of those. So then we're going to be calling with those. Yeah, he's right. So we'll have our gut shots. We're gonna have like 2 card backdoor flush draws. We do. So we do have. We're keeping in. We're keeping in those. All of our top pair, almost all of our top pair. There. We're keeping all of those. Guess we don't have diamonds in here. Nope. All right, so that's good. So that's 21%. At 36%, we call 56%. So we're close. We're close. I think this will work. So let's use this as our range here. Oops. Let's actually get our correct range. All right. So now let's build our tree. But this time we're going to use our turn numbers. So 13.1. Effective sex, we'll say 44. We're going to, out of position, we're just going to say 50% pot. We're going to use with only 2 bets that get the money in smoothly. We are going to build our tree, build new tree. We're going to import it, and remember we have to check. And that's going to get us right to the turn with our actual ranges. All right, so we'll run the solver and this will be quick. All right, so we've got it, check, check. This is 8 of hearts, I believe. Yep. All right, so he should be checking. That's not going to be right. So we go to this. We are going to take that check. We're going to make him bet. Because I do think, well, with his hands, he shouldn't be betting. According to GTO, he shouldn't be betting. He's going to bet. All right, let's rerun this. We back. Yep, super fast. Check, check, 8 of hearts. All right, so we have him betting, and now GTO has us raising. So with that range, now GTO's recommend raising. Villain should have some pretty weak cards. I mean, basically, you can see all of those cards. You know, top pair with overpair, with just jacks. We're raising in order to balance our overpairs that beat his hands, our top pair good kickers that beat most of them, most of the hands. We're going to have to throw in some of these junky cards that really don't have a hope. But the idea is if we raise here, villain may be folding all of these weaker ones, and he's only going to come back over the top here. I'm not sure if I like that because I kind of feel like if we raise, I don't think we're going to be getting these folds. I just don't. So while GTO is recommending raising, and that could be a pretty good play, I'm not sure if that's what we want. I mean, we probably should. But for exploitative play, just not quite 100%. All right, so this is running long. I think we're going to end here, get this posted. Overall, it looks like we played okay. River, I kind of think that overbet is probably the way to go. Instead of betting pot, just shoving all in. I think that's what we probably needed to do. All right, so hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another hand.